Ever since the man in yellow was first shown to us, the identity and origin of him are the things that have just been frying my brain the most.
He was standing right there in the open, and nobody warned you about what he actually is. The man in yellow didn't just show up in season 4 to shake things up. No, he revealed something the show has been hiding in plain sight since the very beginning. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. You already know what I'm about to say. You felt it the first time he appeared on screen. That cold, slow wrongness about him. That feeling that this isn't just a villain. This is something much older, much darker. And the show's writers, they know exactly what they based him on. Let's get into it. Because here's the thing. The man in yellow isn't some original creation. He's rooted in something real. Something that existed in mythology long before FROM ever aired. There's an ancient cosmic figure called Hastur, also known as the King in Yellow. And if you've never heard that name before, stay with me here, because this is where everything starts clicking. Hastur is considered a god-level entity, the half-brother of Cthulhu, the Duke of Hell itself. His entire existence is built around one purpose: corruption, suffering, the slow, methodical destruction of the people unlucky enough to fall into his domain. Sound familiar? Because that's exactly what the man in yellow does to every single soul that winds up in Fromville. Every cycle, every time. He doesn't just kill people. He tortures them. He manipulates them. He turns them against each other. And then, when the fear and suffering has reached its absolute peak, he feasts. We all knew this wasn't just a horror show. We knew it was something deeper. Something that taps into ancient ideas about evil that go far beyond network television. And look, I need you to stay with me here, because the powers lining up between Hastur and the man in yellow are not a coincidence. Not even close. Immortality, reality warping, mind control, telepathy. These are Hastur's documented powers in mythology. And every single one of them, we've watched the man in yellow use on screen. He shapeshifted into Sophia. Completely. Bones cracking, body reforming. And even then, he had to consciously try to act like her because the mindset underneath never changed. That's not a costume. That's something far more disturbing than a costume. He appeared out of nowhere in Jim's RV. No warning, no build-up, just there. And then Jim was gone with a single swipe. He planted voices inside Sarah's mind and basically froze her in place. He reached into Mariel's reality and made her believe she was back in the caves, chained up, terrified. That actually got to me personally. The idea that someone, something, can just reach into your mind and collapse your sense of reality. That feels wrong on a level that goes beyond fiction. But before I get to what his actual goal is, I want to slow down for just a second. I want to talk directly to you, because I think a lot of us watch shows like From and we keep it at arm's length, right? We call it entertainment. We say it's just a story. But there's a reason certain archetypes keep appearing across centuries of mythology, across cultures that never even met each other. The soul collector, the ruler of a trapped domain. The entity that feeds on fear and suffering and cannot be stopped by any talisman or protection the victims try to use. These ideas exist because on some level, people have always understood that certain kinds of evil are ancient, organized, patient. That's what the man in yellow represents. And that's why he unsettles people on a level that most TV villains simply don't reach. Now here's where it gets interesting. His origin, because we don't fully know it. And I think that's intentional. What we do know is that he's been there for centuries. Miranda's drawings showed him. Victor, as a boy, witnessed him feasting on his own mother. That image alone. The fear it put into Victor was so deep it stayed in his body into adulthood. With the oldest version of Jade's incarnation appearing to be a couple of 100 years old, that places the man in yellow at a similar age at minimum. He's not new. He was never new. He was already there. Already running the cycle. And here's the theory that I think holds the most weight. What if he was the first resident? What if he made a deal with something even higher than himself for immortality? And in return, he was handed the keys to that town, the ability to dictate what happens, to ensure the cycle keeps running. Because his immortality might not be unconditional. It might be dependent on the cycle continuing, on the fear being harvested, on the feast happening again and again and again. She said he feeds on them. Actually, let me rephrase that. It's not just feeding, it's a ritual. A structured, repeated, ancient ritual of collection. And if that's true, then breaking the cycle isn't just an escape for Jade and Tabitha. It's a death sentence for him. Which explains everything. Why he's escalating in season 4. Why he's no longer working purely from afar and is now up close, personal, almost reckless. He feels something shifting. The cycle is being questioned in a way it's never been questioned before. History repeating itself just might not be guaranteed anymore. And that terrifies him. For the first time, the man in yellow might actually be afraid. Not an abstract fear. Real fear. The kind he's been inflicting on others for centuries. Now here's the part nobody talks about. The boy in white. There are serious questions about whether that child is the man in yellow's own son. The first sacrifice, the original victim of this deal. And if that's true, then the light in that town, the one guiding force that seems to be working against the darkness, is the eternal trapped soul of a child. His child. That's not just dark storytelling. That's a picture of what pure evil actually looks like. Using your own blood to purchase immortality and then ruling over their trapped soul forever. The boy in white's fear. That constant sheepishness starts making complete sense when you see it through that lens. And the monsters. Don't forget the monsters. They didn't just appear. They made a deal too. They sacrificed their own people. Thinking what? That they'd get power. That they'd be protected. And the thing they made that deal with never told them what they'd become. Just like how you don't read the fine print until it's too late. The man in yellow operates exactly like that. Every deal, every cycle, every soul, he collects them all, and we still don't know who he's collecting them for. So let me ask you something directly, because I want to know what you think. If the cycle breaks, if Jade and Tabitha actually manage to do what no resident before them has ever done, what happens to all those trapped souls? Do they get free? Do they disappear? Or does something even worse than the man in yellow step in to collect what was promised? Because deals with that kind of darkness don't just get canceled. Someone always pays. And I don't think we've even begun to understand the full cost of what's been happening in that town for the last few hundred years. What do you think is really waiting on the other side of this cycle ending? Drop it in the comments. Because I genuinely need to know I'm not the only one losing sleep over this.